Breaking news: Syria joins U.S.-led coalition to defeat ISIS after Trump meeting. Tonight, a major geopolitical shift in the Middle East. Syria, long isolated and sanctioned by Washington, has now agreed to join the U.S.-led international coalition to defeat the so-called Islamic State group. It marks one of the most unexpected realignments in American foreign policy in over a decade. The announcement came after a historic meeting at the White House between President Donald Trump and Syrian President Ahmad al-Sharaa, the first such visit by a Syrian leader in U.S. history. For years, al-Sharaa was seen as a controversial figure, once accused of ties to jihadist organizations. But now, under Trump's administration, he's being described as a partner for peace and a potential key ally against extremism. Speaking from the Oval Office, President Trump said, "We want to see Syria become a country that's very successful, and I think this leader can do it." With this move, Syria becomes the 90th nation to join the global coalition fighting ISIS. U.S. officials say the goal is to eliminate the remaining extremist cells and stop the flow of foreign militants across the region. The administration has also announced a major economic shift, suspending the Caesar Act sanctions for 180 days. These sanctions, in place since 2019, had banned nearly all U.S. trade and investment in Syria. The Treasury and Commerce departments will now allow limited business activity, focusing on energy and reconstruction projects. Diplomatic relations between the U.S. and Syria were frozen in 2012. Now, for the first time in more than a decade, Washington will allow Syria to reopen its embassy in the capital. Officials on both sides call it a new era of cooperation. This meeting is the third between Trump and al-Sharaa in less than a year, following talks at the Gulf Cooperation Summit and a private dinner during the UN General Assembly. Al-Sharaa's presence in the White House marks a stunning transformation. Not long ago, he led Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, a group once labeled a terrorist organization by the United States. Until just this year, he was still listed as a specially designated global terrorist, with a $10 million bounty on his head. That designation was removed only last week. In a Fox News interview, al-Sharaa said his meeting with Trump focused not on the past, but on the present and the future. He promised to rebuild Syria, open its economy, and strengthen ties with the West. Still, international observers warn that his leadership remains controversial. Reports cite ongoing human rights violations and internal conflicts involving tribal and minority groups. Al-Sharaa has vowed to investigate abuses and to, quote, end the cycle of fear. Analysts say this agreement could mark the beginning of a wider geopolitical reset, pulling Syria away from Iranian and Russian influence and toward a U.S.-backed security framework. Critics, however, warn that legitimizing a former militant leader could carry serious risks. But for Trump, it's about results, not reputation. "He's a fighter," Trump said. "If you didn't have a rough past, you wouldn't have a chance." For the White House, this is a gamble that could redefine America's presence in the Middle East. For Syria, it may be the first real step toward international redemption and perhaps, after 13 years of conflict, a fragile peace. This is AI News Now TV, global updates powered by AI.